Hello and welcome to FDTV. We are back again with another episode of our weekly podcast. I'm your host Ali, along with my fellow co-host Jawad. Jawad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ali. I'm doing great. And just again, it's your daily reminder to hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up before watching this. That would be highly appreciated. Ali, let's get into this.
Let's start off with Denmark going head to head against Wales. A lot of people picked these two sides as the underdogs before the tournament in their predictions, and Denmark, coming off two losses, somehow made it to the round of 16 and absolutely thrashed Wales 4-0 on the day. So, what was your take on the match?
Right. So, for anyone who was just reading the story of it, was reading the numbers, they would have seen that actually what happened was that Denmark beat Wales, but a 10-man Wales. But what they're forgetting is that Harry Wilson was sent off in the 90th minute. After all the goals have been already scored, I think only Martin Braithwaite's goal was after that incident. But Wales absolutely got dominated by a passionate Denmark. A 4-0 score, it really shows what they have done. And I was looking into the analysis of it when Eriksen was playing. What was happening was everything was going through him. Denmark were a little bit predictable. They weren't as open as they are right now. And what has happened is because Eriksen is not playing, the way Denmark is able to really utilize their players is much more open now. They're more fluid with their attack. They're more outgoing with what they're doing. Everyone has the freedom because Danish people are of the feeling that whatever happens, they are overachieving now. Anything they do now is more than what they were hoping for. So that really shows in the way they're playing. They're not scared to go forward. They're not scared to actually attack. And that really makes this team an exciting team to watch. One concern area for them is that Kjær came off injured. Now that could be very crucial going into the next round, as he's been a proven leader for Denmark so far in this tournament. But let's see what happens. Ali, what was your take watching this match?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank the Danish team because they are keeping my prediction of underdogs alive. I'm predicting them to be the underdogs in this tournament, and even with the absence of Christian Eriksen in the unfortunate turn of events, I would say that every player in the midfield is taking responsibility. And specifically, I'm pointing out Emil Højbjerg, who had a terrific start under Jose Mourinho at Tottenham Hotspur, got a good move of 15 million from Southampton, and he's really carrying on that amazing run of form to the Euros. 3 assists so far, coming from a defensive midfielder, is kind of unheard of. And with Emil Højbjerg in the middle of the park, I think Denmark can dominate a lot of midfields in the European Championship. And their defense is very solid as well. But the Kjær thing is a big loss. Coming in the next round, I think they can go in the extra time because they're playing like a team right now. But I would like to ask you, who is the standout player for you in this Danish team?
Damsgaard. I feel like he has really increased his, you can call it stock. You can call it his transfer value, whatever you want to call it, but it has gone up. Now, Damsgaard has been linked with a lot of major European clubs now. It's because of the way that he is playing, and what a player he is to watch as well. That's not just to highlight him. There are other players as well that are really taking the responsibility that came along with the unfortunate event and really taken it to the next step. But he, I feel like, has stood out with what they have been able to produce. And it's been tremendous to watch him, and it's been absolutely exciting to see what this team is playing like now. You got it absolutely right. They're playing like a team. They're much more of a cohesive unit. Now, let's talk about Wales. Where do you think it went wrong for them?
I think it's just about the quality. Coming off a good run in the group stages, they recovered well from the initial loss that they suffered on the hands of Italy. But having Gareth Bale and Dan James and Aaron Ramsey, it's not enough. They lacked in the defensive side of things. Their goalkeeper outperformed his expected tally in the tournament. But when you look at the team on the paper, it's not that strong at all. There are a lot of flaws in the middle of the park. Their wing backs, their full backs, they are not up to the standard of the other teams in the competition. So that is what came at the end. And I would like to say that Dan James from Manchester United, he's underperforming right now. I think him as a starter, he did not do his job of stretching the flanks and working the byline. And Bale was kind of underwhelming as well, apart from the shot that he took in the start of the first half. I would like to say that it's all down to the quality of the team. But I want to ask you this: can Denmark, without Kier, challenge the next opponent?
So it's going to be very
True.
tough to see what they're able to pull off. Now, they do have a great attacking mindset now, which does give them a free roaming ability. Apart from their first match, which was kind of a scare, they did manage to really do good well in the next rounds. Now, obviously, after that first match, it was a scare. That really shows me that if they are to come across a better collected team, a more comprehensive team, if you will, they would struggle a little bit. So even though I feel like Denmark's journey's end after this quarterfinal is what I feel like they would be able to stretch out to, but it's going to be a tough ask considering if Denmark is able to channel all of that emotion that they have gathered up and all of the goodwill that's with the team right now. All the neutrals are with the Danish people right now, are with the team right now. That does make a difference. It's the 12th man, if you will, that's really turning their heads around and putting in a dominant performance like this one against Wales. Well, you can say whatever you want, but Wales did not show up. There wasn't any Ramsey miracle. There wasn't any Gareth Bale magic in this one. And that's what's cost them. They had those two star players. They were waiting for them to perform, but they didn't. And the team that was Denmark, again, they managed to really thrash them on this one.
I don't think so. I would like to say that Denmark have justified their tag of underdogs in the tournament, because coming off two losses in the beginning of the tournament and moving to the round of 16 and putting such a dominant performance and thrashing their opponents, I think that's enough for them. But I won't be surprised if they take the next opposition head on and push the match as far as they can take it. But that would be definitely interesting to see. Always, everybody loves the underdog story after all.